Wayne had his eye appointment on Tuesday night. So, like I said, Cassie works at a place called Optics. So it's an eyeglass store. She does the eye testing. She does like everything there, except for what the doctor does. So like I mentioned, the doctor did talk to her in the morning. Well, she talked to him and told him what was going on. And he said it sounded like an ocular migraine. They'd find out when he got there. He got there after work, and Cassie did the eye tests on him. And when she did the one eye scan machine on him, she almost saw a little shadow, and she was a little worried. She was just like, oh, I don't know for sure if I can, if this is something. And then, she took him into the doctor's office. They had their part. When they came out, Wayne found Cassie and said, I'm good, I'm okay. And she was just kind of like, okay. And I think pretty much he just left. He didn't really talk to her or anything. Or maybe had told her that they think it's high blood pressure. So in any case, a little while later, the doctor came and found Cassie in the lab area where she was cutting lenses and stuff. And he told her, he's like, yep, talk to your dad. He seems okay. From what I can tell, it was an ocular migraine. Like, there's no detached retina and all that. His eyes are fine, and it's probably due to high blood pressure. And so they had a good talk. And so Cassie, kind of reassured Cassie again that no, but his eyes are fine. So it was like, okay, good, phew. And then when Wayne got home, I got the details, and again, I think we told Cassie when she got home a little bit more. So yes, there is this thing called ocular migraine. I should look it up. I haven't looked it up online. I looked up ocular migraine. I just have to deal with the glare on my glasses. I was going to wear my prescription ones, but then I have to look like this to be able to read, which, well, if I do that, then there's no glare. Okay, so anyways, ocular migraine is also known as a retinal migraine. It is a type of migraine that primarily affects the vision. They cause temporary visual disturbances in one eye, typically lasting from minutes to hours. So for Wayne, that's about it. It lasted, the first part where it was just the floater lasted for a good 15, 20 minutes, and then the flashing lights lasted for about 20 to 30 minutes. So the exact cause of ocular migraines is unknown, but they are believed to be related to changes in blood flow in the retina, the light-sensitive tissue at the back of the eye. Some potential triggers include stress, hormonal fluctuations, certain foods and beverages, sleep deprivation, and eye strain. Now, I know, again, for regular migraines, there was the whole food thing, because like my mom, when she would have MSG, that's what would usually trigger her migraines. Caffeine, I've heard of even for those, and later there's something mentioned about cheese, which I thought too, I'm like, that's an interesting one of that. Okay, also sleep deprivation and eye strain. The main symptom of an ocular migraine is temporary loss of vision in one eye. This can manifest as shimmering or flashing lights, blind spots, tunnel vision, blurred vision, and pain or discomfort in the affected eye. So again, he didn't have any pain. He did have the flashing lights and blind spots. Again, he saw a floater, so it wasn't completely black or blind. It was like this circular blob. Other symptoms may include headaches, although they're not always present. Nausea, sensitivity to light. So again, he didn't have any of that. Ocular migraines are typically diagnosed based on the patient's symptoms and medical history. A comprehensive eye exam may be conducted to rule out other potential causes of visual disturbances. So again, that's why he went to the eye doctor, to rule out a detached retina or anything with the eyes. Treatment for ocular migraines focuses on managing symptoms and preventing future episodes. This may include over-the-counter pain relievers. Again, he wasn't in pain. He wasn't having a headache. Prescription medications, triptans and beta blockers. It could be he's got prescription medication as a blood pressure medication. Lifestyle modifications, managing stress. Yeah, avoiding triggers. Well, that's life. So, yeah, managing. In some cases, Botox injections can be considered. So that's interesting. Ocular migraines are generally harmless and resolve on their own within a few hours. However, it's important to seek medical attention if the visual loss lasts for more than an hour, there is a sudden loss of vision in both eyes, There are other neurological symptoms like weakness or numbness. Migraines are frequent or severe. So again, that's another thing of when the doctors asked whether there were any other symptoms, whether there was like muscle fatigue or anything of that sort, which again, there was not. So one of the questions is, what we're considering is an ocular migraine a mini stroke? And the answer, if they have, is no, an ocular migraine is not a mini stroke, though the conditions can be confused due to similar vision symptoms. A mini stroke is a sudden disruption of blood flow to the brain that causes temporary stroke-like symptoms, whereas an ocular migraine is a visual disturbance caused by blood vessel spasms in the retina. So I guess, again, that's why we were thinking, again, stroke, but there's the whole thing where they talk about the acronym SMILE, which I forget what they all are, but I know one of them is like raising your arms up. Well, smile, and one of them is smile. So you do smile and do both your sides of the mouth go up, or is one side, hanging down? Can you have a conversation? Things like that. So that's interesting to know that that is a question that other people have thought too, of whether this was a stroke or not. So, yeah, there's some information about it. Now I know. I said I was surprised that it's called a migraine, in that he didn't have any pain, he didn't have any migraine headache symptoms, and I guess that can happen. And a few of you have mentioned that online. I've seen that that's what you thought it was, and you've experienced that too. So my mom used to have migraines, and she'd be laid up on the couch. It was one of those that, that you get flashing lights and all that, so she had to have like a towel over her eyes, and she had to just lay still, and preferably in a dark, room. Or those, the towel over her eyes helped. And so I know of those kind of migraines. So to hear this, it was like, oh, interesting. And I said, yep, nope, this is what it's called. So it is a thing that happens, and it is usually due to high blood pressure. Doc, I don't know if he had this himself, but he's on blood pressure medication. In fact, he's on the same one that Wayne is, and says that was it was good that he was on that, but also obviously when he gets checked out by the general physician, they'll change up his medicine a little bit or do whatever. And so yeah, so the doctor was happy that, like I said, that he was on that. Like I said, they had a good discussion and everything, and so Wayne felt good about that too, had a good discussion, and knew kind of probably what was going to happen going forward in that when he did go talk to his general physician. So happy that we've kind of got it figured out. We've got it figured out of what's all going on, what this is, and what happened to him. And then I guess it may or may not still happen again. But again, at least we kind of know, why, what's causing it and everything, and pay attention to that stuff, I guess, and go from there. Happy Wednesday. Silly me. Hottest day for the rest of this year, so they say, maybe. And I've decided, I want to be outside and clean out a car. Decided finally time to clean out Mom's car, seeing as I had to move it for the electrician to get it and stuff. And I thought, oh, well, I didn't have the time yesterday. I didn't have the energy. I knew that. But I'm like, okay, but if I plan for it for tomorrow, I'll do that. I'll clean the car. And so I decided that, oh, yeah, so today we'll do that. And I'm going, yeah, okay, good call, Jen. On the hottest day, you're going to be outside and putz around. So I thought, all right, I got my exercising in. I'm just going to wear my sweaty clothes and do this. I noticed as I drove it out and everything, the windows really need to be cleaned. And like I said, we haven't cleaned out the inside of it for years. So it's time to do that. And maybe I'll get the windows cleaned. I know Wayne did ours pretty much. I don't know if he did my van windows. Maybe he did the inside. My windshield has some bird poop on it or something that needs cleaning. So it needs a car wash. But he was going to get gas and all that too, and I'm like, well, I'm going to go to Grafton. That way I can use my pick and save points at the gas station there, just to do that more easily. The gas station he usually stops at is not the one that uses the points. So I'm like, I'll use the points and do that. So then he didn't go out and get all that done. But this car needs a bath and all that too. So we'll see what we can do. Hopefully we won't get bitten by mosquitoes. We'll see how long I last. Wayne also has a doctor's appointment this afternoon he wants me to go to, so I only have a couple hours to get this done, which should be enough time, and then maybe hopefully get a shower in, so I thought I'll smell okay to go to the doctor's appointment. Anyways, let's get started. Of course, I pretty much have everything out of the van, and then I thought, oh, I should have shown you the before and after. You know, I don't think of that stuff beforehand. But I found this interesting. Cleaning out the glove box, and we still have, you know, Dad's little old, you know, Swiss Army knife thing in there. So that's very cool that I'll get to have that now. I saw these and I'm like, what in the heck? But I think these may be one of those, like sunglasses per se. I've got two of them. That when you go to the eye doctor and have your eyes dilated, and then you're supposed to wear these. So these go like inside your glasses so that you can wear them and you can see. Along with another actual pair of those sunglasses. And I think I have another pair in that envelope. And then we have the New Testament. So that was in the glove box. And then a little sticker per se. It has a sticky on there. I was thinking maybe magnetic, but part of the Sacred Heart. What is that? Auto League. I don't know. I want some ice scrapers. Good things to have. We had 2 snow scrapers in here. Did your parents used to do that, like on the dashboard, or do you still have? They have a little sticker thing of Jesus. I don't know, what do you call it? Not a statue per se, but in the middle of the dashboard. I remember my grandparents having that, and my parents must have had that too. I seem to remember that they just had that little, you know, Jesus thing right in the middle, in the middle of the dashboard driving. So help keep you safe while you're on the road. All right, you get rewarded for doing things like this. A while back, it had to be more than a year ago-ish now. I remember I stopped at Ulta and I picked up some top coat nail polish, and I bought 2 of them because they were there. I found them, and I was like, because they just stopped selling them in like Target and Walmart or whatever. And so because I found them there, I bought 2, and then I went to go have lunch with my friend Donna. And while I was in the car, I was showing you guys, oh, look what I bought. I have, you know, this and this, and I think I bought some like cotton candy granola. I don't know. I bought some flavored like granola mix, I think it was, or a nut mix, and a couple of different flavors. And I only had the 1 nail polish, and I'm like, where in the world did the other one go? And I double checked the bags, and I double checked my purse because I think I'd shoved it in my purse, did whatever, and all that. Well, so cleaning out the car, and I have, first of all, I have my handy dandy, well, huge flashlight. We bought this for Mandy for her car so that she would have a flashlight. And I know she was so excited thinking that this is so heavy that she could use this as a weapon if need be. So she felt protected that she had this. But again, now that she's out of the country and stuff, I think we had it in the car. Wayne cleaned out her car a little bit. So again, as it was sitting outside, we didn't have really anything in there that anybody could think they'd want. So I have this in the house now, but I'm using this to look under the seats and in the doors and in the little cubby holes that Mom has. I don't know if you can see this. There are these cubby holes here. So in looking under the passenger seat, I found my bottle of nail polish. Yay! I'm like, I knew for sure I had, you know, both of them were in the bag, and that when I was showing you guys myself that there had been 2 in the bag. And then after I put the bag down and I got home, Lord knows where it went. Well, it went under the seat. So, bonus! This car has all sorts of little cubby holes. Got a little one up here. Got the one I showed you in the door. And the one I showed you under the dash. That's the driver's side. And then there's a cubby on the passenger side, along with a glove box. So you also have this little bit of storage here. That side's just flat. You can't put anything there. But so there's that. And then in the center console, we have that. It has all that. And then there's this little drawer here. And then I found a little drawer here that opens. So all sorts of places to put things. My parents bought this car new, and they were living in Florida at the time. So they're making lots of trips back and forth to Florida and up here. I think I mentioned that before, again, like when the kiddos were born and stuff, and they would come back up here. and they would stay with us for a little while, or then after that they found like a furnished apartment to rent and things like that. So in that day and age, when you went through Chicago, you had tollways to pay, and they were like cash or change in reality. I think they probably had one cash booth if you had dollar bills, but otherwise they were change, and there were multiple of them. So they always gave you warnings, so you always get your change out ahead of time and you're all ready so that you can just throw it in the little basket and go. So in this car, one of the, I don't know, neat little features that it has is that holder I showed you. There's a portion in there that actually holds the change. See this part up front here? You can put your change in here, so then you can dole out whatever, coins you need. You need a quarter, you need two, and or obviously at this point going through drive-throughs and food, going to get your food and stuff, you can do that. And then this little piece here actually lifts up, and you can adjust this area to however big that you want it, and you put that in there. So pretty neat. All right, she's nice and cleaned out. There was nothing in the trunk anyway, but I figured I'd get the shop vac out to do that. But I thought, well, I'm going to start with Cassie's cute little room vacuum that we bought her, because it's got a shorter, thinner end on it that I can get into some of the cup holders and things like that, whereas the shop vac is really big. So we'll get that all nice and cleaned out. Because I was thinking too, I was going to get the shop vac out to maybe vacuum in front of the door where I broke the perfume bottle. Because today, stepping out again, I saw a couple pieces of glass, so I got my little dustpan out and my whisk broom, and I swept up a couple of little pieces that I saw. So I figured, well, I should vacuum that whole area again, just to be safe, just to be good, get that, nice and clean that I know it's cleaned up. So maybe we'll get to that. It's already been an hour, so I've only got one more hour to go. We'll see what we can do. If anything, at least I have the garage open that I can do this in the shade of the garage, and I'm not out in that hot sun doing all this. So that's a bonus, because even then I'm still sweating. And just when I thought I was done, I found out the back seat has a little cubby hole area too. Little drink holders, which is awesome, but just this side. That side doesn't have that. So this towel was in there, and I took that out, and I see Rain-X. I'm like, oh, that's right, this lifts up. So another little cubby hole area to put kind of trunk-like stuff in, which we have the bungee cords and stuff. And Rain-X, Dad liked putting the Rain-X on the windows before long trips. So not too much stuff totally in the car. A few things I still have to go through. I don't remember what's like in the brown bag, or I'm assuming these are tools for like changing a tire and stuff. There's a CD holder. There are the plugs to charge phones and stuff. Whole basket of goodies, like probably all our cars have, that I'll go through there. With obviously pens and hand sanitizer, mints, all that good stuff. I found a golf ball under one of the driver's seat. And then Dad's knife. Mom bought these little cutters just in case the other two she was driving and she saw some like lilacs or whatever that she wanted to have. She could cut the flowers and bring them home. And then the icebreaker, so just in case, for whatever reason, you get locked in your car and you can't get out, you can smash through. An umbrella, everybody should have. Calculator, because you never know. You gotta add stuff. These blankets, if you guys don't have one of these, you should get one. Wayne actually had to use this once. The car like just stopped on him on the expressway, and it was in winter, and Mom and I were out to eat, so I couldn't even go pick him up and stuff. We were out with relatives, and so he had called the towing company or whatever, but he had to stay with the car, and he actually had to cover up with one of these blankets to keep himself warm, and he said it actually worked. So that was good. It's good to know. Obviously more sunglasses, a rag in the car because you need that. The bungee cord, paperwork, empty toilet paper tube. I don't know why. Maybe she was blowing her nose and stuff, had toilet paper in there, but that, and then obviously there was a couple empty plastic bags. There's food bags. There was the Rain-X. We had some kitty litter in there to help weigh down the car. So yeah, all that stuff. And then a couple other items. Obviously there was that Rain-X in there. There was plastic utensils that were still wrapped from places. Once you go and order out food. Again, this car's from 2004, so it gathered a few things. What else? Kitty litter was in the back because that would help weigh down the car. So there's nothing in the back. It's a big, long, extended van. So for the winter time to help keep weight in the back so the tires wouldn't spin. Is that all I pulled out of there? I think that's about it. So, yay, it's always good to feel like you have a nice clean car. Like I said, I'll go through some of the stuff. Some of it will get back in there. Obviously, sunglasses and some of the pens and that. I figured I want to clean out this container. I'll wash it up and all that stuff, and then get it filled back up with stuff that I use and everything. Yeah. But again, 1:30, so I'll take the shop back to it, I think, and that's going to be it for today, and then I'll work on all this other stuff tomorrow or the rest of this week. Oh, fun, fun, fun. The adventure never ends. I just closed up all Mom's car doors, went to start it, go take her van back. Oh, and the battery's dead. I mean, guess. We don't drive this car too often, so it's been months, but we've started it up a couple weeks ago. It was fine. Obviously, I started it yesterday, brought it out, it was fine. But I guess having the doors open for an hour and a half with all the lights going on in the car took the battery juice down. So, thank goodness we have a battery charger by Mom, so I'm going to go get that and plug the van in, and if anything, maybe, hopefully in neutral, I can push it into the garage and get the garage door closed so that I can charge for hours while, I can charge with the garage door closed while we're out and about and doing stuff and all that, so that I can get enough charge so that we can drive it and get the battery charged. Fun. Alrighty, there. Oh, I gotta put my bag cover on. Ha! I did it. I don't know if I mentioned or not. I tried, the battery died. I went to go get the charger. I do have it plugged in, so it plugs into the wall. And then, if I can see it, it plugs into the car. So we usually do that when it's parked at Mom's, just to keep the battery charged, because again, now that Mandy's been at Korea, I haven't needed to drive this car that often. So we do just try to obviously take it out and about to get all the fluids going and keep it going. But anyways, it's 3/4 in my garage. It's hanging out just a little bit. So I'm like, all right, well, I'll just put it neutral and I'll just push it forward because there's enough room in here. Obviously, it parks in Mom's garage. It's going to fit in this garage. Probably over, got to turn the wheel so it goes over just a little bit. And when there's no power in the car, there's no power steering or power brakes. So I started pushing down the brake, and it was going. It was soft, and I tried, but I either couldn't get it down all the way, or enough I had it down all the way, and I couldn't get the shift out of park. And so I released it, and then I tried again, and that's when I was like, oh, all right, I lost all the power braking. So I tried pushing, and I pushed hard, what I thought was hard enough, and it still wasn't getting out of the park. And then I pushed it harder, so I felt like I was down to the floor, and I tried moving the shifter, and that wasn't happening. I'm like, all right, well, you do whatever. I'm like, all right, well, I don't want to really leave my garage open and go shower, but I really need a shower. So I kept peeking out here, and then I'm like, okay, go inside, and I took off my shoes, and I peeked out here. Then I'm like, okay, well, let me get my hair out of the ponytail, do what I could, a little bit down, and then I ran upstairs and actually I ran the hot water down in the kitchen too to get the hot water going faster. Got upstairs, took a shower. Good thing about that is because I'm already hot and sweaty, I don't need to stand in the shower, and just love the hot water. It's my guilty pleasure of every time I go in the shower, I just stand there for 5 minutes in the heat and just revel in the warmth and enjoy and appreciate my hot water and thank my hot water heater and my gas and electric lines and the house and Lake Michigan and the water treatment plants. Everybody that keeps everything going, because I really, really appreciate this. Today it was like, nope, in and out. Get in, wash as fast as possible, get out, get dressed. Be outside again. It's over 80 degrees. What do we have? 88 in the garage. So I may be out here sweating for a little bit as I sit out here. I will read my book, if anything. That's another, good thing forces me to read. So I took my book with when we went to the emergency room with Wayne. So I am reading still Sea of Storms from Lindsay Pogue, the author that I followed, I've recommended. She writes different genres. She's written some love stories. She's written dystopian worlds of where the people, most of the people have died, and the ones that are left, they all came down with the flu and they have special powers, if only. And now this one is more, an untamed world type of. She's sailing on a boat with another guy, but it's kind of uncharted territories. It's not, it's kind of from the old days type of whatever, and they're going from, I don't know where, I don't even think it was United States, it was somewhere. Back over to England and, whatever. So there's there's all that going on. Good story. I'm appreciate. I like it. I like all of the stuff that she writes. It's just a matter of taking the time to read. Again, I've had this one for months. Whereas I have a friend who reads a book, like every weekend, if not more, and then she puts out these awesome snippets of this is what this book is about, gives little reviews, and she just has the right words, and it's so awesome. I just told her, I'm like, you need to start your own YouTube channel and do book reviews and all that. And then somebody else said, yeah, coffee and a book with Lisa type of thing. And I was like, oh, that's perfect, because she loves going to the little coffee shops too and supporting the small businesses and getting her little coffee, sometimes a little cookie that goes with the book type of thing. I'm like, oh, you could sit out there, it's still warm enough out, sit outside with your phone, do a little review, or your backyard, you've got a nice porch. So we'll see. Maybe she would. It'd be cute. But anyways, I figure I'll sit out here and wait. I've got probably another 45 minutes before Wayne's gonna be home. I mentioned it in chat that, okay, couldn't get the van in. He's like, I'll take care of it. And I'm like, yeah, I know he knows more about cars than I do and all that, but I'm sweating. I'm like, okay, I'm sweating too much to put makeup on. So we'll see whether that happens before I leave or not. And obviously the universe is trying to teach me another lesson that, I can't be inside and working on the computer and doing things that I would otherwise do after I got to this point of my day. Teaching me that patience. But going with the flow. That was it, got to go with the flow, which I'm also not very good at. I need to, just kind of, okay, just, like I said, won't go with the flow, figure out what to do now. So it's like, okay, if I have to be outside and I can't be by my computer and I can't do a lot of stuff on my phone that I need to do. But so I'm like, well, I can read. So we'll do that. And again, sitting in the shade. It's nice. It's beautiful. Maybe if I go outside the garage a little bit, I think there's a little bit of a breeze. So, oh yeah, there's a breeze coming in right now. Just let me know. Yes, there is a breeze. Thank you. Okay. I'm hoping after this charges for an hour that it'll have some juice or enough juice to be able to start and maybe again either back it up and pull it forward and charge here, or we can at least drive it to Mom's and get it plugged back in there again, and then it can just sit plugged in. Taking an early walk today, and I found some change in the street. So some pennies and a dime. So I've got Dad and my dogs with me. They're gonna take a walk with me today. That's so nice. And all the leaves on the ground. It's fall. The leaves are falling. He landed on a tree. The white heron is back. Of course, I'm looking into the sun. So we'll see if we can see. I was hoping he was going to land in the water so I could see him easier. Of course, I can't see my screen in the first place. And he's in a tree, so it's hard to see him. Get closer. Oh, there you go. Happy Thursday. Decided to get my walk in first today before it got too warm. It's already like 73 out here. Kind of wasn't up for exercising. Although I did see a video on my homepage when I logged in that looks interesting. So I still might do that when I get back home. Maybe I'll have more energy then. But taking my walk, and right away I saw the white heron flying overhead again. So the white heron is still around. So that was pretty neat. He actually went over to the other side where it's shallower. So I was kind of surprised, and I'm like, are there really any fish over there? We haven't had a lot of rain. That there would maybe be something on that side. But he did go and dive for one. Oh, is that another one? That's a gray one. I've seen a bunch of herons then. So I had two of them off to the side and they flew off. Let's see if I can get him in the background. So I've got another one flying over. Another one, there were like two of them that were together, and then one flew off and kind of did a loop around the lake and then went up a little water area. But he's still flying. The white one ended up getting kind of close to the bridge, and from where I was videotaping, he was getting under the bushes, so I had to move. So as I moved to get close, and he was kind of closer to the bridge, and he saw me, and he was like, eh, no. And that's when he took off, and then he's flying, and he kind of circled around, and then still something, and then he kind of flew off. But too funny, while I was also standing there and standing still and video recording him, a squirrel came out of the tree, so a good like 5 feet away from me, and just sat there and, you know, sat on his haunches and looked at me. I was just looking at me like what are you doing? I mean, got any food? It was like, is that why you're here? You want to feed me? But too cute. So he sat there for a good, I would say, minute or two. He just sat there staring at me. But of course I was videotaping the heron, so I didn't want to videotape him too, and I'm like, oh, I already got this on like a close-up. So I don't know if I pan it over and try to get you, and then if you know, and then he ended up going off. And then I didn't see him. And after the heron flew off, I went back, I'm like, all right, are you still kind of hanging around? But he was not. But this is beautiful. This is lovely. I love nature. Then I feel good. I'm like, okay, I get my little stress relief getting to do this, take my walks and getting in nature. And you know, Wayne's been having some trouble with stress and high blood pressure. And then yesterday we had the whole car fiasco, so that kind of did him in when he got home a little bit early for the doctor's appointment. And he's like, he was all stressed out, and then when he gets stressed out, he kind of has a little bit of an anxiety attack. And he was like, yeah, just a little bit before he had to leave, another worker called him and needed a rush job, and he was just like, he was, can I get it done before I have to leave, because I had this doctor's appointment. So he said he was able to get about 3/4 of it done. But then I also messaged him like right after that about, oh, the car is not moving and I can't get it in neutral, to get it in the garage. So when he got home, he tried, and he couldn't get it in neutral either. And but he knows there's a way, and it's kind of funny. One of the guys that I've watched too, Paul in Perth, he had gone through his cancer journey, and he's also like an auto mechanic. I think he did work at a auto mechanic place. He's even got his, like, you know, that gray shirt with his name on it type of thing, and that was his original channel, was to show things on automobiles, taking apart, selling parts, fixing parts, stuff like that. So now, because he's kind of got, you know, newer audience following him, he is also trying to show helpful hint stuff, like this is how you change your wiper blades, and this is how you do, I don't remember what else he showed, but then he did show this thing about how if you can't get your car in neutral, there's this little slot built in where the shifter is, that you just poke your key in, or that, and it's supposed to release the covering around that. And then there's like a little like safety fail type thing that you can move that out of the way, and you can move the shifter into whatever you need, probably neutral. So Wayne tried that, and he couldn't get the top off. So he looked it up on the phone, and the phone said, yeah, this is what you do. And he's like, okay, and this also, or try a screwdriver. So then he did that. He got a screwdriver out, and he was able to pop the cover, got it in neutral. The van is so stinking heavy that he wasn't able to move it. So then I came out to help him with that. And between the two of us, we were able to move it, the whole like foot it needed to be moved or whatever. And we were able to get the garage closed. So that was good. Because in the meantime, like, I called Cassie. Like, are you by chance able to come home from work? And she's like, no. I'm like, okay. But then Wayne had got the cover popped, so I got it in neutral. And he tried pushing, like I said, and he was like, yeah, I can't move this. So between the two of us, we did it. We got it in the garage. So that was kind of like, all right. We got that one taken care of. And then I drove to the doctor. And really nice guy. Of course, going there too, that we run into construction. I'm following my maps, and I thought it had taken me one way, and I'm like, oh, interesting. I usually take a different way. And then we're going, and even Wayne's like, well, we got to turn here. I'm like, well, that'd be the way I usually take, and then maps is taking me that way. And I'm like, well, okay, interesting, because I swear it was taking me straight instead of turning. And so I turn, and then I go the way we normally go, and that road's under construction.
And we only got so far, and all these cars are turning around because the road was completely blocked. And I'm like, okay. So thank goodness Wayne was able to look at his phone and say, okay, after we turn around, get back, and at the stoplight, we're going to turn, and then we're going to turn at this road, and that'll take us straight in, and it did. So that was good. Yeah, so anyways, there weren't too many people in the waiting room. In fact, there was only like one other mom and her child. And we got seen pretty much on time. We liked this guy. It was a new doctor. Wayne just picked somebody that he could get an appointment with today. And so we really liked this guy. And for everything that he was saying, even the nurse was very kind, very nice. And even Wayne's like, yeah, for the end of the day, people just get worn out and you get a little just kind of doing your job, whatever. But she was still very friendly and kind and joking around. So that was nice, especially too because she had the patient before us was this younger child, and in the waiting room he was bouncing around making lots of noise and not really being obnoxious, but just loud. And the mom had taken him down the hall, so whether she went to the bathroom with him or whatever, and they came back and he was all sullen, and he just kind of sat there. And then the nurse called him back and she was like, hey, hi, how's it going? He just was like, ooh, I'm getting the silent treatment, huh? And so when we got in there, she was looking for part of her equipment. She's like, where did this piece of equipment go? And she said, oh yeah, that's right, the child before was very handsy and playing with everything. So they obviously put like the blood pressure cuff part away, the pump and everything. But anyway, so she was, still in a good mood. And like I said, and he was very good. He was not concerned about how high Wayne's lower number was. So obviously it wasn't that high. So it was like, what I was okay. And as we figured, like, he was on a different type of blood pressure medicine before also. So he was on 2 of them. And I guess they had done that for like a month or something. And then they went to just the one to see how it was going to work. And that did just fine until now. So Doc is going to put him back on this other medicine and see him in 2 weeks and see how that goes. In the meantime, we've got the blood pressure cuff at home, and he's supposed to be taking his blood pressure. And see if this is working or not. And he's like, and if not, we've got a couple other things we can try. So that was good too, because again, we're thinking, all right, same. Is he going to hospitalize him? Is he going to do any like stress tests on him? Do any, want any heart scans on him or something? But no, it was all good. And so then something he said that, Wayne was talking about, last time he saw his doctor was like a physical in July or something. And this doctor's like, so we're not doing a physical today. And so that led me to believe that, this doctor's thinking too, that, okay, he'll be the new primary care. So as we're finishing up, he's like, got any questions? And so I asked him, like, can we establish you as his primary care physician then right away? And he was like, oh, yeah. He's like, I just have a few more questions, but I was just making sure you didn't have any or whatever. And so we asked a few more questions or whatever, fill out whatever on the computer screen kind of about Wayne. I think at that point, basically, it was like, do you have any children? Like, yeah, they're older. That's a little source of stress, but not as bad. It's like, I said, one's in South Korea and, and one was there, but back home. So it was more stressful in the beginning when, like, Mandy first got there and stuff. Now we're okay. But it's kind of funny. There's a house being built over here, and they have these, kind of like in the garden when you put the stakes up to stake up your tomato plant and stuff. They have like all these stakes all around the house, and I just find that interesting. Well, maybe it's holding up scaffolding. They can climb that. Nobody's got a ladder over there too. I don't know. It's been there now for a few days. It's like interesting. But anyways, so yeah, Wayne felt a lot better afterwards. We were coming home, and he's like, even now that he's just talked it out, and he's like, and obviously the doctor wasn't concerned and everything, so that made him feel better. So he felt a lot better on the way home. And now we're just waiting for that other prescription to be ready so that he could start that. That's a 24-hour pill. So he's supposed to take both of them in the morning. So that will probably start tomorrow morning. So that was good. It was only a couple hours out of the day. We weren't. His appointment was at like 4:30, and I think we were probably leaving there just after 5:15. So that was good. That didn't take too long. And he was hungry, which was good. So we had dinner when we got home. Asked him about the electrolytes, whether that was too much salt for him, and again, if it's a heart thing. And the doctor said, nah. He's like, even that, it would only affect your blood pressure by maybe 10 points. And he's like, but those electrolyte type drinks too are more so for after you work out. Something, I guess that's when you lose a lot of fluid. But he's like, you could just do a Gatorade or whatever. And I'm thinking, I don't care for the Gatorades, though, just because of all the extra stuff in there, the dyes and the whatever, whereas at least the Element and Liquid IV are pretty much only straight ingredients. And yeah, you've got, like the sodium and then like potassium, magnesium. That's pretty much it. So Wayne's like, if anything, he'll cut back, because he was taking at least 2 a day, if not 3. So like yesterday, his calf muscles started cramping up. He wasn't going to, he's been trying to just drink water, but then he was cramping. So he was like, all right. So he took another, I'll drink one, I suppose I should say, because he hadn't had one. So then he had a Liquid IV. Ooh, arm's getting tired. We'll go down here. So anyways, yeah, so that was yesterday. That was good. We've got Mom's car on a charger, so we'll let that go overnight. Wayne's like, don't try to move it today or whatever, so we don't run out of all the juice that it's like already built up. And I said to him, yeah, I'll wait for him to get home, because in reality then we should also take it for a drive and ride it around for a little bit to actually charge the battery, so that again we're not just even parking it by Mom's and it runs out of all the juice. Although again, we can plug it in when it's there. But so I was thinking, I'm like, oh, I still need to wipe down the windows and all that, but I'm like, okay, I will do that with the doors closed. I will not keep the doors open. So that is about it. That's about my day. I think I see a squirrel in the street. A dead squirrel. Silly squirrels crossing the streets. Oh, honey. Yeah, so that's it for my slow week and having nothing going on. It's been an eventful week. So again, I am grateful that I am able to come out here and get my walks in and stuff. It'd be nice if Wayne would be able to do that a little bit more, but we said too, we're going to make sure that we're getting our walks in, if anything, like when he gets home. He's going to pay attention to his eating a little bit more and things like that. As he knows, he goes, all right, yep, it's a sign. Got to take care of me a little bit better. So that is where we're at right now. Oh yeah, another thing being that Mom wasn't feeling good these last few days either. So on Tuesday, when I was over there with her with the electrician, she kind of started coughing, and she was like, well, what the heck? And she actually was using her inhalers. And by the end of the day, she said again, yeah, she's coughing a lot, and her nose is running, her eyes are running. And so I don't know if she caught a cold or what. And she said, well, I didn't catch it by me going out of the house and going anywhere. I'm like, well, yeah. And obviously it didn't happen that day from the electricians being there, because that was, too soon. They say if it's a cold or whatever, it's usually from what happened 3 days previous. I was like, well, 3 days previous was Saturday. I was out with friends. So with one of those, there was one of the friends that was kind of wiping her nose a little bit and had a little sore throat, or a little rough, so you could hear it in her voice. And at the end, she was like, well, I'm not going to hug any of you because I don't know if I'm getting a cold or if this is allergies, and I'm watching a hawk fly. And so there too, it was kind of like, well, I didn't sit across from her, I didn't sit next to her, so whether I had any germs on me or whatever, that see if you see that in the background, if I took anything over to her or spread anything, I don't know. But luckily, maybe, or nicely, she had the nurse. Actually, there was an appointment for the nurse to come today. Nurse came over, and Mom said she's feeling a lot better today. Because yesterday she kind of just sat around and she was like, rested with the blanket on her and slept a lot. And the nurse came, and I guess things are fine, except she didn't like the way her lungs sounded, or whatever. So she was just going to get an X-ray just to make sure, like, Mom doesn't have pneumonia. which hopefully not. She's kind of had that before, where she's had maybe felt like, you know, a little bit of fluid in her lungs or whatever, but then she's able to, again, she keeps coughing and she's fine and it all moves through. And so I hope that's the case this time again. I'm thinking they'll get the chest x-ray done today. We'll see. But yeah, there's also that going on. Whew. Got a turkey over on our side. I think there are a couple. They're usually not in ones. It looks like I see 4. They usually don't fly, so let's see if they want to run away while they see me. Oh, there's another one still by the porch. That one's still dawdling. He's still checking things out. Oh. Yeah, Chipmunk completely dug out that plant. I guess he's liking those roots. Still digging a little bit. But I have 4 tomatoes here now growing. Very nice. And then my 1 tomato turned red. And I've got another little one. So that's very nice. Figure I'll pick this stuff for salads, but it looks like I waited too long on this one. All that looks like mold, and it's all mushy on here. It's all very soft. Ugh. So hopefully my other ones are okay. Figure I might as well get them picked, but I'm like trying to get in here and and the plant is very prickly. And besides the fact that the cucumbers are prickly, there we go. I'm like the stems of the plants are pricking my hands. Oh, look at, I have another cucumber growing. Nice. I didn't see that one yet either. Here's this one. There's where that bend was. Looks like somebody got a bite out of it, but other than that, it's firm and it's good. So I can use that one in my salad. I just found another tiny one, and then I was going to pick my other one that I know is growing here, and I knew that one was hitting the brick. It's like stuck in the brick. I can't. Oh, here we go. Oh, so I guess time to pick that one too. I'll have to be eating cucumbers a lot now. Alright, that one's not bad either. There's not a big dent in there from where it was against the cement. The bricks, I'm assuming it's that little spot there. But other than that, good looking cucumber. Last but not least, a whole 3 green beans on the plant. 2.5. That one's kind of little. But there we go, garden haul. Woohoo! There, I did it. Exercising done. Did a weight workout today. I opened up my patio doors just to see if by chance the turkeys were going to walk through this way. Didn't see the turkeys. Saw the squirrel. He kind of was going through by the neighbors, and then he kind of like ducked under and whatever, and then by the time I went out there to go check the garden, he was up in the tree, and he was just chirping away, just hollering. I'm like, oh, did you see those turkeys over there? You don't like that? They're in your area? You wanted to go over in that commons area? And then turkeys are there, so you're unhappy? You're letting me know about it? Letting the world know about it? It's too funny. And then, so I was picking the vegetables and Chippy ran through. I'm like, yeah, these are mine today, thank you. But, oh, and then I wanted to show you something else as I was exercising, and I saw Cassie and Wayne are into scary movies, and so I pulled out all the DVDs that we have that we got from Wayne's dad years ago, and I said, okay, you guys, here you go. You can watch all these so then I can donate them to the library. Not that Cassie usually finds stuff on her computer and watches it that way, but I'm like, let's make sure that these discs are okay so I can donate them. So Cassie's like, yeah, I'm up for that. I can watch a movie a day up till Halloween. But so they watched a couple of them, and then the last few days of life has happened, and we haven't had a chance. So we'll see how many of these we get through. I should say how many they get through. I'm not into scary movies. I do something else while they watch this stuff. So let me know. Do you guys like scary movies? Have you seen any of these? There's the light from the patio. I don't know if this patio's blocking them, but yeah. These are their kind of movies. I'll watch happy, funny stuff. Turkeys are back out again. Oh, yep. Run to your friends. At Walmart, we have some cute Halloween displays. It's a little different than last year. Last year, I think they had Bluey and some other characters. And this year, they're just kind of, looks like generic. Cute. I like that dog. Those pumpkins. And a cute ghost. On this side, cast a spell. Oh, there we go. There's the cute pumpkin. Oh, these are double-sided. All right. Because I'm like, oh, there's happy faces. So it's like one side is scary faces and one side is happy faces. And like a cat. And that guy. There we go. Got some bluey window clings. Spider-Man. And some Snoopy. Cute decorations. If you need Halloween decorations, having a party, some neat things you could put out, even just for yourself, to have the place all decorated up. It's cute. It's kind of holographic. I know it's Walmart, but this still flabbergasts me. The cart return is there, and yet all the carts are piled up outside. And same even on the other side. There's, a couple carts in and a couple carts out. Really? For not having anything go on this week, it sure has been an eventful week. But I'm in Mom's car. We got it jump started. Yay, it is Saturday today. So between Wayne not feeling good and needing his heart medicine adjusted and stuff, we put off the car until today, Saturday being a day that he would have more time, when he'd have a couple days of taking the new medicine under his belt and seeing how he felt. And too, it's Saturday, so we'd have more time, and if things worked or didn't work, we'd have time to adjust things. Or again, obviously we made sure that the auto store was open in case we needed a new battery. So I told him in reality, in the end, it didn't really matter if the car didn't jump start. We put a new battery in, that would make it work, and it would be fine, and we'd have it out of our garage and get it back in her garage and all that good stuff. But it did jump start, and so because of that, it needs to be driven for at least a half an hour then for the battery to fully charge. So I've been driving it for almost an hour now,
just doing loops around my area. Thought, well, I'll pull over and videotape a little bit. Got more to tell, but it's a really long story, so we'll see. I could maybe try to tell. I don't know how much room I have yet on my phone. I've got, even though I did delete a bunch of footage now from the Fox River. But yeah, I'm thinking I'll probably make one video. Maybe we'll see how it goes as far as Wayne and everything and how that went. So I may put a blurb in there right now and cut that out and put that with the video with him. And yeah, I'm trying to think what else there was really besides a lot of his stuff. But in any case, I told him I was heading back right now, so I will start driving and we'll try to tape and drive and see if I can remember. I have notes again because I'm like, oh my lord, there's so much. And I think I even forgot to write something down later. I was like, oh, wait, I forgot. Not too bad, a little half a page. But, okay. What else is there besides the Wayne stuff? I'll make maybe that later. So, yeah, on Wednesday, Wayne had his doctor's appointment. He came home a little bit early because of my having let him know that I couldn't get this into neutral, so I couldn't get it in the garage. And then when he came home, he tried getting the car in neutral, and he couldn't depress the brake, couldn't whatever. So thank goodness he knows how to detach the center console. Again, I think I mentioned that I watched this guy, Paul in Perth, and he mentioned stuff like that on the car and how if you can't get your car neutral, there's this little fail-safe way of what you can do in the car so that you can do that. And Wayne nicely knew how to do that, so he did. Got the car in neutral. Both of us had to push it because his van is super heavy, so he couldn't do it by himself, but it was all right. Both of us got it in. We only needed to move it like a foot. Got it in the garage. There it sat. Plugged it in overnight, and fed for the whole next day. And so the next day we tried starting it after he got, there's nothing. There wasn't even the dome lights came on or anything, and the charger itself was warm in the plug area, so it was working, but the battery was so far gone that didn't help. So like I said, we just let it go for yesterday, and then this afternoon here we did Saturday we did our morning stuff. We did our grocery shopping. I took some cute footage of the Halloweeny stuff we saw because we had to go to Walmart and pick and save. So at Walmart I saw some cute stuff, and then yeah, we went by Mom's, took care of all that, and then decided, okay, now we'll take care of the car stuff, see how that goes. We were able to push it out of the garage. Much easier, almost it seemed, than getting it in the garage, so that was good. And it was good we got it just out. Wayne was at first thinking he wanted to back it up into a spot, and I'm like, oh, that goes up a hill a little bit, and if we can't, then we have to jump in the car and get the brake on and then get this into park. And so I'm like, let's just back it out of the garage. It should be far enough. Again, if this doesn't work, you're going to get a new battery anyways. It's not like it's going to sit here for days or anything. We'll get it done. And he was like, yeah, that's true. So we were able to get it out of the garage real easily, and then he got his car up close enough, and thank God he knows how to do all this stuff. We followed directions. I've got jumper cables, and we followed the directions and hooked it all up, and started it, and she started right up. So yay, good car. Just good car. Nice car. Thank you, car. So that was good. So like I said, yep, driving it around. This morning there were turkeys in the yard, so that was pretty awesome. I never had that before. I was making breakfast and I turn around and there's this big turkey in the yard, and I'm like, well, hello. And Wayne's in the other room and he's like, hello. And I'm going, how are you doing? He's like, oh, I'm pretty good. He goes, have you seen a bug out there? And I'm like, no, there's a turkey in the yard. And he's like, oh. So he and Cassie kind of came in the kitchen and they looked, and never had turkeys in our yard before, so that was exciting. They were both appreciative of that also, so that was very cute. Cassie took some pictures. So yeah, like I said, we went then by my Mom's, and we were doing her cleaning, so obviously we open up her blinds and everything and replace the suet outside and stuff, so the blinds are open while we're doing our cleaning and everything. And then at one point, same, I think I was cleaning the bathroom, whatever, I come down the hallway and there's a turkey on the patio right there at the window, right? I was like, oh, well, hi. And he stood there for a while. Wayne's like, trying to get a picture. I'm like, okay, get my phone out of my pocket, and I got a picture just as he was starting to move. So I'm like, oh, it wasn't perfect. Like, he was just centered in the window, and it was so beautiful. And so I got that, and then there were two others, like when he was in our yard too. There was a male, it looked like, because it had the red, whatever you call that, the wattle. And then I think two females. And same, so by Mom's, I only saw the three. So the other day when I took a walk, I think I saw 5 of them. But here there were the 3.
So that was very nice. And I said, that was kind of funny. I'm like, you'll have to ask Dad if he sent the turkey, because a couple of weeks ago or at some point I was thinking, I'm like, okay, Dad, it'd be really nice if Mom saw the heron. Send her a heron. Put that on the patio. Like, as she opens her blinds, there'll be a heron standing there, which granted would, kind of jump scare her a little bit, but it would be cute. And I thought, herons in the middle of a grassy area, not so much. They like the water. They like, so too funny. So then I told Mom, I'm like, ask Dad if he did that. And he's like, she said, like, well, he's laughing. And he's like, what do you think? And then after we left and everything, and she kind of had her lunch, she quieted down. So she just texted me and she said that Dad sent me the turkeys first because I asked for them. And then he sent them to Mom because turkeys are easier to manipulate, than herons or whatever. And I'm like, well, yeah, true. And seeing as they're in our area again now, it's like, oh, so that was cute. That was neat. What else? Oh, the other day I was doing dishes. So again, to my little wins. I was doing dishes and I actually didn't have any abdomen pain. Woo! I was so excited. I'm like, I actually noticed like towards the end of doing the dishes, I was like, I haven't had any abdomen pain. I'm like, this is the first time. It's been over a year and a half since I've had surgery. And for this to be the first time that I'm noticing that I didn't have any pain during the whole time of doing dishes. So it was like awesome. Again, another step closer to healing, still healing. It's beautiful. Like I said, I take it. I'll take my little wins. Seeing as I was just thinking the other video, I'm like, I'm sad I'm not being able to wear jeans anymore. But I'm like, you know what? I didn't have any pain though doing dishes. Oh, I may be seeing some raindrops coming. Can't take too long. I told Wayne I was on my way. What else? Mom's had a cold. So that's it too. She got a cold, as of Tuesday, whether it's allergies, whether it's a cold. She wasn't feeling well. She had a lot of coughing, runny nose, runny eyes. But so I didn't really go over there. I felt bad. I was like, I kind of wanted to, maybe make her some food, do it up. But then again, I also didn't want to get sick. Speaking of even today, she was still kind of coughing, but it was good that we were all talking. And so because of talking, she was able to hack up some stuff that was in her lungs. The nurse happened to have an appointment already scheduled on Thursday. So the nurse came and checked her out. It was fine. She didn't really like the sound of her lungs, so ordered an x-ray. They came, took the x-ray right away that afternoon. I don't even know if she still got the results. She didn't have them as of yesterday. She called. She said, there weren't any results yet. There was some prescription ready, and then she checked. And then I'm like, is it new or is it one of your old ones? And then she checked, it was one of her old ones. So I'm like, thank goodness that she's gotten better, because I'm like, oh, if you have to go in for pneumonia and they have to drain your lungs or whatever, I'm like, I don't see that being a good thing. I don't know as though she would come back out. So I am so very grateful that she's doing well. She's better. Again, this is already Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So this is like the 5th day. So happy that she's doing better. So yay, but we've had that stress this week also. What else? Cassie got jeans in the other day. So that was nice. I should go, the raindrops are coming. Cassie ordered jeans from South Korea because she had found a pair there when she was there that she liked. And she wasn't really finding stuff here. Hello, buddy rabbit. She did go to Kohl's. She did find a couple pair. But it was almost like more cheaper to buy them from South Korea and have them shipped here than buying jeans from Kohl's. So she ordered like 5 pair, and there was some confusion about whether they were supposed to have come one day and then they didn't come, and she's like, okay, I'm confused about this shipping notification, this email, whatever. And she put it in chat and I looked at it and I'm like, well, it looks like that's still in Hong Kong. And so she looked at it again and she's like, but then I got another one said Milwaukee. And she's like, well, I don't know. Well, so they came yesterday, which was good. She had off, so that was awesome. She opened up the box, she got them out, she's looking at them and held them up to her. Oh, she really liked them and stuff. And then she was gonna she tried them on and she goes to button them and there's no buttonhole. Okay. Oh, check out the next pair, no buttonhole. Check out the 3rd pair, no buttonhole. And I'm like, okay, so all 5 pair did not have a buttonhole. They had the stitching for that area of where a buttonhole would be, but they did not actually have the buttonhole. Okay. So that was so interesting. I got out our utility knife, and it had a really sharp pair of little scissors, so I got that out. And so she took that on top of the box that they kind of came in. She took the utility knife and she was cutting in the area where the holes should be, then poked the scissors through and cut her own buttonholes. So that worked. That was good. And then we washed them right away. So, and then because we were doing that, she decided that, all right, and again, being her day off, and Mandy's coming home in a little bit, that, you know, a couple weeks, so we've got some time but to clean out her room. Because Cassie still only cleaned out her suitcases like 3/4 of the way. So she finally had the energy and took the time, and I helped her because, again, she had things like dryer sheets, which, okay, had to go in the basement. We had, she had some tea bags, so I put that in the cabinet where we have tea. She had some of the travel size bottles that she had shampoo in and stuff like that, so I put those in our closet where like that would go, and her travel shower caddy. And then some other things, some things like she didn't want, so I'm like, again, for now, I'm like, we'll just put them in Mandy's room. I will get to them because I have, you know, more time during the week to be able to go through some more. Tried to make some room on some of her shelves so she could put some more of her stuff, and she's got to figure out where she's putting all her K-pop stuff. And got the dust rag up there, got the vacuum up there, so we were vacuuming off shelves. One of her shelves she hadn't cleaned off in like about 10 years. So there was a thick layer of dust. She was gonna put her fan on, and she goes, oh wait, no, not until we clean off all this dust. And so we did that. We worked that together. I had sweat dripping down my back. She was warm too. We tried opening up the house, but it was too humid. It was just like, oh my Lord, yeah, no, that was even hotter. So we closed it back up, put the air back on. And yeah, so until we took care of all the dust and everything and stuff, and then she was able to put the fan on when she started working on some more things. She kind of cleaned off her dresser a little bit, and then because she had emptied off the one shelf, she was able to move some things up there and organize that the way that she wanted to. And so that was good. So that took up a lot of yesterday. I know Wayne asked me yesterday, he's like, so what are you doing with all the stuff you took out of your mom's car? And I'm like, I'm getting to it. I'll go through it. I'll whatever. And he's like, okay. You know, like when? And I'm like, well, hopefully in the next week we'll get this taken care of. So, anyways, was that? I thought there was something else with Cassie. Don't remember what else. That's probably it. Just the whole cleaning thing. So that was good. So that took yesterday. So again, a lot of this week was just out of my control per se. Different things, different little stresses. You know, occupying my time and all that, which was, it's fine. It's just different than other stuff. As I said, I think my whole lesson with the whole van here thing was, again, of just going with the flow. Like, you gotta go with the flow. Sometimes you have things planned, you can't do your plans. You need to go with the flow and do whatever absolutely like needs to be done. So that's what we're doing. That's it. Anyways, this is like a super long video, so I'm going to end this here. I know tomorrow Sunday we'll be talking with Mandy, but I'm sure that it won't be all that exciting and whatever, and I can put that in next week's video. So I hope you guys are doing well and you're having good weather. We were due the rain. This was good. It rained a little bit last night and stormed, but I'm happy for the rain. We needed that and dry. Hope you're getting your walk in, fresh air, doing stuff that makes you smile, having fun. You guys, keep it positive. Go make it a great day. Bye-bye.